welcome back to Adventure 12, Lesson 7. We're going to talk about suffixes again today, and we're going to use them in sentences. So the first word we're going to look at is muddy. It's got that Y on there, doesn't it? Okay, longer. ER makes that mean more long, doesn't it? Clearly. LY makes this mean in a clear manner. Careful. Full of care. And biggest. EST makes this mean most big, doesn't it? So let's use these in a sentence. Our muddy dog left paw prints on the kitchen floor. That is the biggest pizza I've ever seen. Be careful carrying that fish bowl to the sink. My glasses are clean. I can see clearly now. Which is longer, my boot or that footprint? So remember, we can use suffixes to change the way that we use words. What did we read about yesterday? We read about the printing press, didn't we? What are some reasons that printing has changed throughout the years? Remember, when they started out, people were writing and copying those books by hand. And now, all we have to do is type it on a computer, hit print, comes out the printer, doesn't it? Okay, let's look at our words again for this story. The first one is print. Put words on paper. Print. Whoops. I am printing our words right now. Print. Okay, attention.
I need my key over there.
Notice or care. Centuries. Centuries. Periods of 100 years. And the last one, let me start way over here. Three-dimensional. Remember, we said that it could be 3D. Three-dimensional. Okay, so let's use these in a sentence. If I say something happened centuries ago, did it happen a long time ago or just last week? A long time ago, right? If I ask you to pay attention, does that mean you should listen or you should give me money? Even though we use the word pay in there, that doesn't mean you're actually giving someone money, does it? Pay attention. Can you print a magazine and a diary? Yes, you sure can. If something is three-dimensional, can I touch it? Yes, you can. Okay, so let's go back to our story. It's called Bringing Books to Life. You learn that figurative language is an interesting way of saying something ordinary. Listen to this sentence. We waited forever in line for tickets. If you say you waited forever for something, it means you waited a long time, doesn't it? Okay, here's another one from the story. Rich people looked down on these books. Now, does that mean looking down like this? No, it means thinking that it's not as good, right? Okay, so let me read you the story. Bringing books to life. Every day, people print pages of text with just a click of a computer button. But printing has not always been so easy. Long ago, printing a page took days, but ways of printing have changed over the centuries. Now printers can spit out a page in seconds. There's figurative language again, spit out. Long before there was printing, people wrote everything out by hand. This was a lot of work and took forever. Few books were made. No one knows exactly when printing began, but the oldest printing people know about was done in China. It was called wood block printing. People carved words or patterns into wood blocks. They stamped the pages with ink. Woodblock printing was faster than writing, but people still needed a quicker way to print. And the caption says, today you can print quickly from your computer. The first printing machine. In 1439, Johann Gutenberg invented a new way to print. He made a machine called a printing press. He formed letters out of metal. He moved the letters to make blocks of words. Then he spread ink on the blocks. His machine pressed paper against ink to print words. The machine could make books faster, and the books were cheaper than handmade ones. Rich people looked down on these books. They thought handmade books were better. But more people could buy the cheaper books. Many people learned to read because of them. Printing today and tomorrow. Even though the printing press was faster, much of the work still needed to be done by hand. Running a printing press was tiring for workers. This changed around 1800. Printing presses began to be run by engines. They needed less attention from workers. Then, around 1970, people began to use computers to print. Printing words with a computer is quick and easy. Printing books is easier than ever. Soon, people began to wonder what else they could print. Today, 3D printers make all kinds of three-dimensional objects, like toys or car parts. Your coat is missing a button? Print a new one. Printing has changed so much through the years. We can only imagine what's next. If someone needs a new tooth, 3D printers might be able to help. So what do we know about printing in the early days? We know that in the very beginning, they had to copy everything by hand, didn't they? What kind of technique did they use next? They used wood blocks, didn't they? Think of it as kind of like stamps, if you've ever played with stamps. Then we moved on to Gutenberg inventing the printing press, where they had groups of words and then they would press it down and make paper or make the printing that way. Then we started doing it on computers, didn't we? And now, even today, we have 3D printers that can just print you out a thing that you could hold in your hand. So we've come quite a long way from them. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.